You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official.
It's your boy Thomas back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now, there's just a few things I saw in the news this past coming week that was a little crazy. First of all, Tim Pool goes off on Candance Owens and literally obliterates her. He proves that everything she's saying is bullshit. It's all false. And only idiots, brainwashed idiots, fucking believe her dumbass. Because she has no evidence. Zero proof. She's just making shit up. And she's profiting from Charlie Kirk's death. She has been this whole time. She's always been a far leftist. She's not a conservative. She's not for the right. So you're an idiot if you believe her. Facts and truth matter, and she's been proven to be full of shit. Tim Pool proves it. Just watch some of his latest videos. He literally proves it. Also, you got to think about the whole thing where way back where she she kind of had a falling out with TP, or Turning Point, whatever you want to call it. They were getting along really well, supposedly, and then supposedly she tried to have an affair with Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk said, absolutely not. And the next thing you know, she don't want anything to do with Turning Point. She marries this guy named Farmer in 10 days. 10 days. I think it was 10 days. I might correct me on that. I'm not for sure exactly. But it was a really short period of time. Kind of like a revenge thing. She got pissed because he told her no. She had a mad crush on Charlie Kirk. So she's always hated Erica because she thinks that should have been her place. She should have gotten Turning Point. So anyways, that's the so-called rumor. And I tend to believe it because, she's done nothing but try to fucking sabotage them motherfuckers since he died.
You know who I am?
She's pissed that she didn't get Charlie Kirk. She literally is. But anyways, and like I said, she's the only one benefiting from his death. And Tim Pool called her out on a bunch of crap, and he proved her wrong. Like, fucking, seriously, she's gonna go, oh, well, I got a text, but I'm not gonna show you the text. I just, there's a text. Someone, anonymous dude, told me this, and blah, blah, blah. And you dumbasses, without any fucking evidence, go, oh, she might be right. No, she's not. Zero evidence. She can't show any evidence. And then on top of that, Turning Point offered to debate her, and she said, I'll debate you anywhere, anytime. And then when they did it, she's all like, oh, I can't do it now. And then they're like, what the fuck? We'll let you pick the day then. Oh, no, I think I shouldn't do that. Like, really? She's a lying bitch. She is trash. And a lot more YouTubers and conservators are coming out and calling her out on her bullshit. She's a liar. She's always has been. She's a far left extremist feminist. She always has been. I don't give a fuck if you don't like the facts or not. Those are the facts. Get over it. Get your brain washed, fucking rinsed out of Candance Owens and her bullshit. People need to start boycotting that bitch. Because she's fucking loonier than a fucking jaybird. Anyways, that's enough of Candance Owens and Tim Pool. I think it's crazy. A lot of people are now saying that the person that shot at Tim Pool's house, that Candance Owens had something to do with it. And that wouldn't surprise me, honestly. She's that crazy. She's that loony. And people are like, well, they did. She says it didn't happen, blah, blah, blah. The dude's just literally shown the police reports, and he's got video of it showing security camera footage. I mean, fuck off, you fucking weak-minded, brainwashed Candance Owens fans. Go fuck yourself. Get right in the fucking head. Anyways, moving on. Sorry, I just wanted to go over that shit. If you want to see more about that shit, go check out Tim Pool's show. Alright. Another thing I saw was, which I think is crazy, is Netflix is going to fucking reboot, what was it? Holy shit, I can't think of the show. I literally just saw something on it.
You know who I am?
Oh, the Chronicles of Narnia. They're going to reboot Chronicles of fucking Narnia with all this woke crap in it. It's a modern day audience version. You dumbass motherfuckers. We don't need a modern day audience. It's not set. It's set in the the 30s or 40s. And they want to bring rock and all kinds of, their version of what's considered rock and other crap into it. They want to make most of the cast female, and gay, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. That is so horrible. That's terrible. Nobody's gonna watch that fucking show. Let me know what your thoughts about that is, because that's so dumb. And the other thing I saw was, I'm kind of curious of what you guys think about the whole Netflix and Paramount fighting over Warner Brothers. Like, the Ellis family, they had put a significant amount of money towards this bid, which was more than Netflix. But then Warner Brothers was thinking about going with Netflix. And you know what would happen if Netflix got a hold of it? It would turn into this gay woke crap. All the Warner Brothers shit and DC Comics and crap. Whereas the Ellis family, they intend to make everything back the way it used to be before all the woke crap and gay crap. um, which scares the fuck out of Hollywood, or Holly Weird. I call them Holly Weird. It scares the piss out of them because they don't want. They would rather stay degenerate. But anyways, another factor is the whole, the stream in the theater thing. One says they're going to make it where they're going to keep the theaters going, and then Netflix is all like, no, we're doing all streaming. Netflix didn't even want the TV shows. The Ellises do. I don't know. They're going directly to the shareholders and offering them money to take it. So I don't know what's going to happen. But I'd rather the Ellises get it. I don't care if they're fucking from Israel, but who gives a flying fuck if they're Israel? Seriously. Has nothing to do with politics, you fucking dumb fucks. Or their ethnicity. Stupid fuckers. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are about that whole situation. Who do you want it to go to and why? So as I've said before, even if you don't watch the channel regularly and you've only seen a couple of videos or you don't watch it at all, it only takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button. It doesn't affect you or your channel whatsoever. It just helps this channel grow. So please subscribe. Also, I have another channel. It's called Easy Does It. The link is in the About section. Check it out if you like gaming vlogs and reviews and reactions to other YouTube channels. Okay. Again, subscribe. Okay, we're going to move on to the television show I watched not too long ago. I told you I have several of these coming down the pipeline. The show I watched was called Tales of the Golden Monkey. It was done like 82, 83. And it stars Stephen Collins and Caitlin Cheney. Now, I barely remember Stephen Collins. He's a decent actor. And Caitlin, the only thing I could remember her from is a movie called 3 O'Clock High, where she played this hot teacher. Now, I don't think she's all that good looking, but she's not a bad looking. She was decent looking gal, pretty decent looking. She wasn't like supermodel material, but she's pretty good looking. Anyways, the show is they tried to do like this Indiana Jones kind of thing, but in this he's a pilot. He used to fight in the war, World War I, and now he's become a pilot, and he does like a variety of things like a stagecoach, or passenger plane, and he does deliveries and shit like that. Anyways, the only one that kind of came off like the Indiana Jones was the very first episode. He has to go get this, he tries to find this a golden idol monkey or whatever on this monkey island or some shit. And that's the only one. Everything else was pretty much, something to do with Nazis or some crap. Or gangsters, or Japanese gangsters. The chick from Buck Rogers who played the princess in Buck Rogers, she plays the princess in this as well. She's a princess of some Japanese island or some shit, and he runs into her quite a bit. She likes him, so she doesn't kill him, although she usually just kills people. But anyways, it's okay. It's not a bad show. I didn't think it was that great. That's probably why it bombed. I only did one season, but it was decent. It's a decent watch. I barely half-assed remember when that came out. But check it out if you want to. I give it a thumbs up and thumbs down. It could have been better, but it was okay for a one-time watch. Okay, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Okay, movie-holics, let's get on to your B-movie reviews. This week is Action Week. Now, I went with a couple of historical action flicks, historical fantasy. They may be based on true events, but, they're not exact copies of what actually went down. The first one I watched was called The Last Samurai, and it was done in 2003. It made about $450 million worldwide. It starred Tom Cruise, Ken Watanabe, and Kiyuki. I guess that's how you pronounce her name. Basically, this movie is set somewhere like in the late 1800s, early 1900s, right when Japan was transitioning to more modern industrial age. The last of the samurai was kind of being eroded out. They had made an army, and they wanted Americans to come over and show them how to basically run a military with guns, because they weren't used to using guns. So Tom Cruise plays this captain who done a bad thing for Colonel Custard by slaughtering a bunch of people with Wounded Knee or some shit like that. Now, I thought in the history books that Colonel Custer got slaughtered himself, but in this movie he's still with them. At least I think that's who the colonel is. The colonel is Colonel Custer that calls him over. Anyway, a sergeant of the regiment comes to collect Tom Cruise. He's like been doing stage performances for money and shit. But then he tells him he can make a whole lot of money if he comes with him and becomes a merc and trains the Japanese army how to warfare with guns. So he goes with him. He's kind of a drunkard, and at the very beginning he pretty much gets, they try to take on the samurai too early before the men are trained, and he kind of gets taken. He's not killed. He's kept alive because I can't think of what the Japanese dude's name is, but the Ken is the guy who plays him. His character, Kazumoto or whatever the fuck his name is, he wants to learn from his enemy, so he keeps him alive so he can learn from him. He has brief conversations every day with him. He makes his sister take care of him, which is Yokio. He kills a guy at the very beginning, and it turns out that it was her husband, his brother-in-law. But he tells her she needs to take care of him because he wants to learn from him. She's disgusted by this at first. Later on, she kind of falls in love with him, but at first she didn't like him at all. He can't leave the valley they're in. They go to this valley because of the winter and shit like that. He can't really leave. He would die trying to get out of the valley, supposedly, or whatever. So he's kind of a prisoner. And while he's there, he starts learning the ways of the samurai. And then later on, he goes back to the city. Now, the emperor, the reason they go back is because Kazumoto, or whatever the fuck, he's going to go see the emperor and try to talk to him. The emperor is called for him, so he goes back. He's extremely loyal and subservient to the emperor, but the emperor's not listening to him. So they go to, you have this business guy. He's kind of like a mob boss, sort of. You know, he's the wealthy millionaire. He's got all the money. He wants to kill the samurai and just get it over with. So he sends the army out to kill him. And Tom Cruise joins the samurai. And they have one big last battle before they kill them all. And then they're all, oh, we shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. Well, a little too late. Fuckers killed him. But whatever. And the emperor's ashamed because he let it happen, blah, blah, blah. But he strips the wealthy business dude of his titles and shit, takes his shit away, all his money. And then Tom Cruise's character and the emperor become good friends. And then Tom Cruise, it says at the end they don't know what actually happened to him. There's this guy who's writing a book about him. Said don't know what happened to him. These are the rumors. Take your pick. And that's the end of the movie. The acting's great, of course. There's only one real major fight scene, and that's towards the end. Like the last 15 minutes of the movie, you have this big skirmish. Other than that, you get like a one at the very beginning, which is like maybe 2 minutes long. It's not very long, where he gets captured, and that's it. The rest of the movie is pretty much a drama, is what it is. But it's still a good movie. It's a decent movie. I really liked it. If you're going to do something drama, this is the way you should do it. Tell me a story of what the fuck happened. You know, don't over dramatize it, make it all girly-ish and shit. Like, I hate them kind of movies. I really do. I can't stand like fried green tomatoes and shit like that. That's so dumb. Those movies are dumb. They're for women. But anyways, it's a good movie. I highly recommend it. Check it out. You won't be disappointed. It's a little long, so I think it's about 3 hours long, but it's still a really, really good movie. Okay, let's move on to your next one. Now, the next one I watched was called Hannibal, Rome's Worst Nightmare. It was done in 2006. It was done for TV, so there was no box office numbers. But it starred Alexander Zadig. You might know him from Deep Space Nine, Dr. Bashir, or he played the king in Game of Thrones, that off island or whatever. You know, Dipshit was his brother. Pascal was his brother or whatever. Anyways, and then the other actor was Sean Dingwall, which played his enemies, Scrippo or I can't remember exactly how it, Scaripo or some shit like that. I can't remember. Anyways, this is the closest thing I saw to a Hannibal movie. I know there was supposed to be an Italian version done in the 60s or whatever, but I know it's not going to be nearly as impressive. There were some decent actors in this. They weren't like the greatest of actors, but they were decent. And Alexander Zadig, I like him as an actor. He's a good actor. He plays Hannibal. Now the story is about a general called Hannibal, who was a general for Carthage. Now Carthage used to rule the sea before Rome showed up, and then Rome got into power and took over Carthage. He was raised to be someone who would get revenge against Rome when he got older, and he did. He took out Spain first, made Spain new Carthage, and then he went and he did something that no other fighting forces tried to do to take out Rome. He went through the mountains, the mountain pass, instead of the the waterway, which, he killed half his men doing it, but he got there. Once he got to the northern part of Rome, he started collecting northern tribes of Italy, because they didn't like Rome either. They'd been mistreated by Rome for a long time. So they eventually joined him, and he created a huge army. And then he basically destroyed Rome. Not the city, but the army. He destroyed the army of Rome, decimated him. And he could have gone in there and taken Rome, but he held back and said, no, they're going to surrender to us now. They have no more army. Blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not how it quite worked. Scrippo, or whatever the fuck his name is, he gathers all the prisoners and promises them freedom with the help of the Senate. And then they pay a bunch of mercs, and then instead of attacking Hannibal head on, he takes his army and Rome's last army. He takes Rome's army and goes straight to Carthage, New Carthage first. He destroys New Carthage. Then he moves on to Carthage itself. And Hannibal, hearing about this, is like, I can't allow this. He's got to go defend his homeland. So when he gets there, he loses a bunch of men again, and this Crypto, or whatever the fuck his name is, decimates his army because he's all like, I learned from you. He didn't fight like Romans do. He fought like Hannibal did. He learned everything from him, so he used his own tactics against them, and he decimated his army. And that was the end of Carthage. And Hannibal's fled. He lived for a long time, supposedly, in isolation for many, many years, until the Romans came to get him. And then instead of letting them kill him, he offed himself. And that was the end of it. This show was alright. It wasn't bad. They couldn't tell if they wanted to make it like a documentary or an actual movie. Like, it was almost like the majority of it was like a movie. But there were scenes in it where you had a narrator speaking a couple of times, like, oh, Hannibal then chose to move his army into this section of Rome, blah, 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 or Italy, blah, 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 that kind of shit, Every now and then you'd have that interruption. Plus, when they're introducing all the characters, they're like, you had this little side box that it'd tell you who they were and shit. I was just like, okay. But anyways, other than that, the rest of the movie is really good. I liked it, even though it was just a TV-made movie, and it was done kind of like a documentary. It was decent. I think they need to come out with a really decent movie of Hannibal. Because even though this was okay, it's not a movie, so hopefully they eventually get around to doing it. I'd like to see an actual movie of him. But anyways, he's the only one who literally took out Rome. He could have gone all the way too, but no. Military geniuses, they always do one stupid thing. Always. Every time you do these, you read up on these historical military figures, they always do one stupid thing that fucks their whole campaign up and causes them to lose. Every time. Anyways, I highly recommend this movie. It's a decent for a one-time watch, just to know the story of Hannibal. Even though I guarantee you, not all of happened was in this show. It was still a decent movie. Check it out if you like that historical fantasy stuff. Anyways, that's all I have for you this week. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, leave your comments or thoughts down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you can think of any underrated or B movies that you think I may never even have heard of or seen or whatever, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you be told the truth, and you just been told.